All right, guys, welcome to the next episode of Anime Bros. I'm your co-host, Chris. We're going to be discussing Hunter x Hunter, and I have my other co-host, Matt, and special guest again, Rob. So let's get to it. What do you think about the show, Matt?
Um, I don't know. I feel like you guys hyped this one up like a ton. And honestly, my favorite arc so far, we're gonna be talking about episodes 1 through 75 for this first portion. So that's just up to Greed Island. And honestly, I feel like the Hunter exam has been the best part so far. So I think it just like I was really into that part. I think it started off pretty well, but then since then, wasn't too crazy about some of the other arcs, but I know we got Rob on here. It's one of his favorites, and I've also honestly heard other people tell me it's like their favorite anime. So I kind of just want to kick it back to Rob and see what he's thinking on that.
You got my heart beating out of my chest. I don't know what the blasphemy you are talking about right now is. The Hunter exam is your favorite arc?
I think so, just because it had Hisoka. I feel like had a lot of screen time, and he was also like pretty mysterious back then. You didn't really know too much about him. I did really like Illumi as well, and he's like not even in the show anymore. Um, I thought it was cool that Gon was like running around with his fishing rod, and now he's like not even using the fishing rod anymore. Like I thought that was gonna be like his Nen weapon, kind of like how Hisoka uses the cards. I thought Gon was just gonna be a badass with the fishing rod somehow, and he like doesn't even.
I
And
thought
just
that as well.
just to jog my memory, you said you watched from 1 to 75 the Greed Island arc. You saw the York New City arc? Or
Yeah,
okay, but the Hunter
he,
exam
he,
is your.
he, was, he was training with that other like guy who's trying to learn Nen. I don't even remember that little child's name, but Gon and Killua were better than that kid, but they introduced him as a character, I guess, just to show that uh Gon and Killua are like prodigies because they surpassed that little kid immediately. Whose
I
name
mean,
whose name escapes me. Like I don't even remember a lot of the characters' names in this show because I feel like they serve little purpose.
you
Okay,
have
I
to have
think
the Krillin. You have to have the Krillin in the group. And when Goku started training with Master Roshi, he blew past Krillin.
I,
This
I
time, it's just a Karate Kid.
I mean, I do love Krillin as a character, but he Krillin also like continues throughout the show. I feel like a lot of the characters in this show, they introduce them and then they just drop off. It's like, where is this character in the show now?
okay, I'm so glad you said that. I think we need to show some respect to Hunter x Hunter. So, Hunter x Hunter, for those that haven't seen it yet, we got the main character Gon, and he's basically going through this world trying to become a hunter that he can find his father. And along the way, he's met best friend Killua, and he's met Leorio, Kurapika, and we're getting more of a sense of the world. But if we're just looking at the Hunter exam, just to start out with, which is Matt's favorite arc, um, I don't know. Do you guys want to go into your favorite characters? You mentioned Illumi, Hisoka. What else we got?
What's
Like,
the
what are we
point of
thinking about?
Leorio's character? I
He's the
I,
doctor.
I thought he was going to be like this main. I don't. We don't need to talk about it too much because we're gonna save the Chimera Ant arc for the next episode. But I did watch a little bit ahead, and I some of these characters that I thought were gonna be like main characters, they're like not even in that arc yet. So I don't know if when I actually finished the entire show, like if they come in like the latter half of that arc. But I have watched ahead a little bit, and it's like, where's Kurapika? Where's Leorio? I thought these were like the main guys. I thought,
Okay, to be fair, I've watched this show maybe 6 times. My main critique was exactly as you said. The same thing. I don't know if we want to give all the juice now. We want to talk about the second part, but
we can talk
there
about the
is
second part, but yeah, uh, I did watch ahead a
there's
little bit.
I had the same exact critiques of you, but I think when you see where they're going to take it beyond the second part, I think that's where it'll start to click. But I feel like Leorio, up to the point of the Hunter exam, like he's the regular guy, like the Rock Lee,
He's like the
the guy that we can
Kuwabara
relate
other
to.
group if we're compared it to the other show that this guy made.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's the guy that we can kind of relate to. Is like he's not really super powered like Gon. He doesn't have like this special, just innate giftness that Kurapika seems to have. He's just a regular guy, and we could kind of follow. Like Kilo is obviously a freak. You know what I mean?
I
So
just
that's
thought he
where I
would
feel
get more
Leorio
screen
comes in.
time, honestly. Like My issue is not with him being a weaker character because you do need those characters in the show. It's that I just think he fell off.
I had the same critique.
They
So
did bring him back, and when they were right before the Greed Island arc, when they're looking for the Phantom Troop arc, I guess, when they're like looking for the game or they're trying to do the auctions, he came back, but he had a very limited role. I felt like
Yeah, he came back in New York, New City for like
he was almost like babysitting.
yeah, babysitting, and he went with the guy to like go drinking, and then that's the only seat he had really throughout that entire arc.
Yeah, that's a fair critique. What do you guys think about Hisoka? Hisoka, when I saw this arc and I saw him it's in the middle when they're in the island and they got to like search for each other's number. And for whatever reason, he just loses it. He's Gon's like trailing him and he's just staring like straight ahead with like this menacing aura for an entire night. He's just looking ahead with this freakish look on his face. And then like morning comes and he finds this guy and he makes this crazy noise and chasing after him. I was like, whoa, this guy is next. I've never seen anything like it.
Is that it might have been earlier in the Hunter exam, where he like killed all those guys in the mist? Was that still when he was like when they were trying to get the numbers, or was that a different part? I think that was a different part. They were like
they had a different part of the exam.
Yeah, so like Hisoka during that part, and then Hisoka when they're trying to get each other's badges. That was my favorite part of the series, is watching Hisoka just go crazy on, because he already knows Nen. He's already like skillful enough to be a hunter, and these other guys are like trying to learn to be hunters or like get their hunter's license. Whereas Hisoka, he like pretty much already could have been a hunter, so he's like slaughtering all those guys. So I liked watching Hisoka just like murk all the unfortunate participants that didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
And you, Chris?
I would say my favorite part from Hisoka was actually when he pretended to be a member of the Phantom Troop, and then also when he changed his fortune in order to trick every one of them in order to double cross them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the Hunter exam and why I was so passionate about this video is that when I was first watching this, I looked at the Hunter exam as like the Chunin exams, if I'm comparing this to Naruto. And I just remember watching the Chunin exams and all the amazing battles, whether it was Neji and Hinata, Rock Lee and Gaara, like all these side characters we're seeing, these, even Shikamaru and the Sound Girl. And I just thought, this is the perfect opportunity for them to do the same thing. And we only saw one battle. So that was my critique with just that arc as was starting it off.
Yeah, I did like it wasn't, well, I guess the Chunin exam wasn't necessarily just one-on-one combat either. That was more so at the end.
Yeah, they had the different stages. They had the test. They had
they were trying to get the scrolls
to find each other's scrolls, which is very similar to finding each other's number.
Yeah,
I thought. So I saw the parallels immediately with Naruto in that arc.
But the one-on-ones in Naruto were better.
Yeah, 100%. But as we've seen in the seasons after, we see why that is because Hunter x Hunter had more depth and abilities for the characters beyond just like regular fighting. There was Nin that we found out about later on, so it made sense.
But like, what's like the really good battle in Hunter x Hunter? Up to the point we're at, up to Greed Island, what's been like the best battle? Because
Kurapika versus Uvogin, or the guy from the Phantom Troop, the big guy,
the first Phantom Troop guy.
Yeah, the Uvogin, or
yeah, and I honestly thought that was like the peak of that arc. After that guy got taken out, I didn't really care too much about the other Phantom Troop.
You didn't like Hisoka versus Gon in the tower? That wasn't a good fight.
I think I liked Hisoka versus the other guy that could like make duplicates of himself better.
Oh yeah, I think I like that fight better as well.
Just because Gon like got destroyed pretty much.
Elaborate, because I saw all types of things during the Gon and Hisoka fight. I thought it was just like graphically, it was what we.
It was cool that he was still using the fishing rod. I liked when he like flipped up. Was that against him where he flipped up that cylinder and then he punched
he did that with his bare hands though.
Okay, he was using the rod against someone else then.
That was the fight before.
Maybe the guy with like the spinning tops.
Yes, he flipped it to crush him, crush all of his cylinders, and then broke his little balancing beam.
I mean, I just watched the show and I feel like a lot of the stuff's been like forgettable. There hasn't been like a lot of things that really stood out. I guess in the Phantom Troop arc where that guy had like the machine gun arms and he like mowed everyone in that in the audience, that was pretty crazy. That part
That was
definitely stood
funny.
out to me, but that was like a rarity.
Well, I mean, I thought just the Phantom Troop in general was like the cool version of the Akatsuki. I loved that was my favorite arc.
You thought they were
But I
cooler than the Akatsuki?
yeah, I thought they were more
Oh,
relatable.
I don't. I'd have to disagree with that.
I just felt like they were more modern age, more relatable. Like the Akatsuki, like they're cool, but a lot of their stuff is just like it's like who are these people? Like we don't really get any sort of kind
They
of relatable vibes to them.
they served no purpose in the Greed Island arc. They
They threw him in that game too.
they threw him in that game and then they didn't explain what happened. Then like you see Gon and Killua beat the game, they leave the game, but like what happened to them in the game?
Okay, these are all fair critiques that I had initially, but after I there's information that you guys aren't privy to, which I think once you guys even rewatch this, you'll be like, oh man, this is genius. But for what you guys have fairly valid critiques to this point.
I mean,
Christian, you were trying to say something?
oh, was that?
You were trying to say something?
I say if they bring like the boss back, like he ends up getting his nin back off screen, I'm okay with that. Like if that happens somewhere down the line. But it was like they were in the game. Hisoka met up with them. They sort of had a plan in order to get the exorcist. Now, finding out who the guy, the exorcist, the nin was at the end, that was pretty interesting because it was a guy that Gon was helping the entire time. I did like that. But besides that, they were not really main characters once they got to Great Island.
What about like moving from we've kind of been all over the place, but so Hunter X but we got the Zoldrick family going to get Killua. I thought that was an interesting dynamic where they didn't show all the members of the family. They've just shown 7 up until the point that we're currently at.
I'm curious about his
But
sister because they even showed the sister chilling with the Phantom Troop.
so apparently they're all
Oh, that's true.
men, but you know,
Oh, the youngest one is a man or a boy.
apparently I don't.
I mean, I could see that it's a child sometimes, like with children, you can't tell in animes.
Yeah, they refer to them as sons, but I don't know if it's some what do you call it, gender neutral type thing. Whatever. I get you. I know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
well, yeah, the youngest one, I'm kind of curious about that one because even when Killua's mom took out the black guard that was guarding that line they couldn't get past, uh, I felt like there was a moment there where the youngest child was kind of stunned, like observing what was going on because she's like, "Oh, Killua has friends or something," and
I'm
like
looking at you even kind of crazy to say that the battle with the the head of the Zoldrick family and the grandfather versus Chrollo.
no, that one was cool.
That was forgettable.
No, that was pretty cool, but I feel like as far as the story goes, that wasn't like a necessarily like a significant fight in the plot development. That was more of like a side fight. As far as like the fights with Gon in it, outside of him like stalking Hisoka, I haven't really been interested in like the main characters' fights.
Okay, that's fair. So I mean, I thought the whole dynamic with the testing gate, Miki, even given the butler's sort of like background and understanding, I thought it was a very cool dynamic. I looked at the Zoldrick family as like the cool Uchihas, like they're the Uchiha clan if they were cool.
I get your comparisons, but I don't think they're cooler versions of any of these characters.
I agree with that as well.
Well, this is where I disagree with you guys because what show, based on what you guys have seen so far, what show has ever had the character development that we've seen with characters like Killua,
Naruto,
Kurapika? Naruto has had similar character development as Hunter x Hunter? Really?
dude,
Where's the
Naruto
character
went from
development
like
for Sasuke?
the trashiest ninja in the village to and having no one like him and not knowing like his place in the world to understanding like, oh, I have to be the strongest guy. in the whole world.
That's character development.
Yeah, he did. Dude, he
Naruto
developed.
being a goofball, becoming a Hokage who's so boring nobody can watch the show.
How is that not
is
developed?
character development?
How is that
Where's
not?
the growth?
How did he not grow? He went from like the trashiest ninja to like training with Jiraiya.
I'm not talking about the abilities they gave him. I'm saying, where is the character growth? Where is the change in personality that we're like, wow, we saw?
Oh, well, dude, we just. I mean, I thought his personality changed, but if I can't convince you on that one, I'll just drop it,
Nah.
and we can go back to Kuriko's basketball. All those dudes changed after Kuriko beat them.
I'm just trying to ask you how, because you're saying that
I'm just
Naruto
saying
has the character development that Hunter x Hunter has. I can give you point by point. We can look at Gon's character development to the point where he sacrifices his arm to beat this dude in a video game.
I feel like he would have done that at the beginning of the series too. He was all about just doing anything to find his dad. So if anything, his mentality has been the same the whole show.
Actually, that's a fair point. You could even look at the Hunter exam when he just refused to give up. The guy's like essentially torturing him.
The bald guy whose name escapes me, but that bald ninja, yeah, he was like, he had to give up because he's like, either have to kill Gon or he's just never gonna submit. So.
Well, it's also hard to say because you haven't seen the parts or you haven't really finished the series. So there's clear character development at the end that everybody universally knows in Hunter x Hunter. It's just, I think when we get to that point, there'll be no question that this anime has the greatest character development of any anime we've ever seen.
You can say that for you. You can say like it resonated for you that way. I'm just saying.
I'll back it up with points.
I'm saying so far you hyped this up so much for me, and then I've even had other people tell me this was their favorite anime. And
Hunter x Hunter has the potential to be the greatest anime of all time. Facts. I'm the biggest One Piece fan you'll ever see. I'm the biggest Steins Gate ReZero. It has the potential to blow all those anime out of the water. It is that promising with its character development, world building, story, everything.
It just reminds me.
Find his dad, then it's all over.
Which one?
If Gon finds his dad, the show ends.
Oh, I think his dad's kind of an asshole.
I think his dad's pretty funny.
Just for like abandoning his kid and being like, you can come find me if you're strong enough. Like
the ultimate adventure.
he could have just raised his child like an apprentice. He just abandoned him. So I wasn't really down with that.
I mean, but look, he is making Gon stronger so he can survive on his own. So by the time he beats him,
Del Curry wasn't like, yo, Steph, I'm gonna leave you. You got to go become the best shooter in the world before you can come talk to me. I'm sure he was.
You know what happened though?
He's been like coaching him his whole. He's been coaching him his whole life.
And now LeBron's dad was like, you know what? I'm gonna abandon you. I'm gonna need you to fend for yourself. And what happened? He became the greatest basketball player ever.
But is he like it's trying to search for his dad now?
No, he's not.
I want to double down on this point about character development and world building. What other show? Because we talked about the Hunter exam, Zoldrick family. We also got the Heaven's Arena arc. We're seeing, and when we go to Greed Island when they're going into a video game. What other anime can you think of right now that goes to so many different places in the span of 75 episodes?
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z went to a lot of places.
Yu Yu Hakusho, the other show that this guy did.
Yu Yu Hakusho, where'd they go? Arena to arena?
They went to Spirit World. They went to like that. They had to fight. They had to fight those Saint Beast. At the very end of the show, they went to like the underworld. The dark tournament was even in another location. They had a whole part that took. They had a lot of arcs that like took place on Earth as well. So
okay.
And I haven't seen one. I haven't seen One Piece, but they're like sailing all over the place. So I'm assuming they're going tons of different places.
Theirs was more like they able to go to a bunch of places, but their development they stayed in one location more than Hunter x Hunter does.
So you feel like those locations in a Yu Yu Hakusho or a Dragon Ball Z were as fleshed out as the kind of Zoldyck estate that we were able to see, the Hunter exam sort of environment of how we're seeing how you can get to the Hunter exam, even going through like a ramen shop and taking an elevator down and following a tunnel and going into like all these different kind of sites to take the exam. And even then the Heavens Arena, which we've only seen up to the 200 floor. Mind you, they're floor masters. There's levels to this. Are you starting to see like the depth that
but are they going to come back and talk about the floor masters? I feel like they definitely moved away from it at this point because the next arc is all about those chimera ants. I don't think they're going to come back to the floor masters.
That's incorrect based on the wiki, or the manga. This is the thing, and I kind of wanted to leave this for the second video. They're building on concepts that they're going to address later on, that when you kind of like understand that that's coming, you look back at this, you're like, oh, that's why they didn't flesh out the hunter exam. Oh, that's why they didn't really go to the battle tower. Oh, that's why the Chimera Ant arc took so many episodes to convey the story. It's because they're building up. And this is kind of like the point of the story right now. Right now, all they've been doing is training. Yeah, season 1, season 2, season 3, it's all training.
Are they going to extend the show? Because I know I'm well over halfway through the show, and I feel like there's just so much that they, like you're saying.
I thought this show was like around 300 episodes. I did not know it was half of that. I'm basically all the way through it.
Exactly. And I feel like, I mean, to your point, they had all these environments and concepts. It'd be cool if like they had a bunch of video games that or like side shows that went into more depth into things they didn't cover in the anime. But I feel like the anime is just going to end, and I'm going to be wondering why they introduced half the stuff they did. Like the
pink story could easily be 3,000 to 4,000 episodes.
The pink-haired Phantom Troupe girl that was like sewing up Hisoka's arm. I don't remember her name. The only Phantom Troupe person I remember honestly is Fenton. He's the only one whose name I remember. And Chrollo.
Is who?
Fenton. He's the one that looked like Levi.
Feitan.
Oh, Feitan. See, okay, so I didn't even remember his name. So the pink-haired girl I thought was cool, but I feel like she didn't get that much screen time either. She was just sewing up Hisoka's arm at one point after Heaven's Arena. And then like where are they going to go with her character? I feel like they just dropped her off. They put him in Greed Island, and then just they haven't talked about him since. I don't know if they're going to be fighting some ants. I hope they do. I was kind of hoping like everyone would have to team up to fight these ants, kind of like how in Dragon Ball Z, like Piccolo and Tien and Goku all had to like team up to fight the other Saiyans when they invaded Earth and like all the other aliens. So I don't know if the Phantom Troupe is going to be like, we got to fight these ants, because it seemed like they were getting pretty strong, but I just don't know if they're going to go that direction.
I've seen a good part of it. And it'll be interesting to discuss in the next episode about the Chimera Ant arc.
Yeah, I just feel like they introduce stuff and then they just drop it off. Like even Kurapika's chains, like he like had some sort of contract where his chains are stronger if he just uses them to fight the Phantom Troupe. Like why that seemed kind of random to me. Why couldn't Gon have like a contract where he's like, as long as it's in pursuit of finding my father, my powers are stronger or something?
Well, I mean, his was like, but he put a blade in his heart. So if he didn't follow that contract, because you have to have a strong will. They explain that like you will have to be incredible in order to create the contract. So he explained it to Gon and Killua, but I don't think you can just like create a contract out of nothing. And then
he couldn't be like, I want to find my father more than anything in the world. So if anything is standing in my way, these ants are standing in my way. The Phantom Troupe is standing in my way of finding my father. I just become more stronger.
Okay, yeah, but the contract would have to be like, oh, but if I don't find my father in a year, then this blade will pierce my heart, and then you're dead if you don't find him in a year.
A lot of what you guys are saying is invalidated by the second part that you haven't seen yet. And even with what you said, Matt, they didn't know about the contracts for Nin before they asked Kurapika. So when he was developing his Nin ability, I guess he developed it more at Greed Island. I think you have a point, actually.
Even after he found out, couldn't go and just make a contract, man. Like anything that's stopping me from his ultimate goal, he has one. He actually knows what he wants to do. It's find his dad. So if it's like any enemy stands in my way, I become more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, for all you know, he could create a contract later on. That's all I'm saying. You never
Okay.
know. You never know. I mean,
Yeah, and
the thing about Hunter x Hunter is there's so much, like, at least you guys can see this at its very base level. You can come out and say, oh, Yu Yu Hakusho, they explored the underworld. They explored the battle tournament. They looked under the tiles and they went into the little coaching.
I honestly
room.
like the characters way better. I thought Yusuke, Hiei, Kurama, and Kuwabara were a better four-way team than
Really?
to
Yusuke
me.
is better character than Gon. Tell me that. Say that on live video.
I liked his
Yusuke is a
fights.
better
I liked his fights
Go ahead.
better for sure.
But is he a better character and why?
I mean,
Explain that to
Gon
me.
is a good protagonist, but I have those other three for sure. I like Hiei better. Hiei and Killua are kind of similar in some regards. I mean,
What? No, I don't think that at all.
I think of the group, they're the similar. Like, and then Leorio's like the Kuwabara, and then Kurapika's got his like chains, just like Kurama's got his whip.
Nah, I don't really see any recycling. I think Gon is a much more interesting character with a lot more levels to it. And I think
I don't think
he's
similar to Yusuke. I don't think Gon and Yusuke are similar, but
I don't think Yusuke, if Yusuke's in that tournament, he's getting his arms broken and stuff like that. I think he's given up. I don't think
dude, are you kidding me? He like shoved that orb in his body that Genkai gave him and was like banging his head against the walls in that cave because he was in so much pain.
I just don't think he has the same amount of will that Gon has. Like, I think just Gon has the will to fight. Like, there was no part of him, no matter if he got his arm ripped off, that was going to stop. And I think that's shown throughout the show. I think Killua, we've seen a dude who's just grown up as an assassin his entire life. And as he meets Gon, there's like this light that he's sort of introduced to, like, oh, life could be like this. And we really see him start to become more of a person than the weapon he's created. Leorio, I feel like his backstory was trying to become a doctor to help his friend. And we don't get to see a lot of him. He's really just like comic relief. So there's not much there right now, I grant you. But it's still
that's one of my gripes with the show is I think that he should have more screen time. I think a lot of these I think Hisoka should have more screen time. I think a lot of these characters, they just introduce them and then they don't really serve much purpose.
Well, I agree. I just disagree with you trying to say that the characters on Yu Yu Hakusho are more entertaining to watch than the characters here. I think
for me they are. We can agree to disagree, but I honestly thought it wasn't even close.
All right. Tell me what the Kurama only arc would look like. We had the Kurapika arc. What does the Kurama arc look like, Matt? Go.
They pretty much had Kurama's backstory of how he had
where's his arc?
He had to escape into the human world and get like born again through his mother. And now he's like part human. He used to just be like a demon fox.
Okay, but what's his arc look like? Where's his, like, Kurapika's arc was trying to get vengeance for his family that was murdered.
I'm trying to remember that guy's name. It was like Yomi or something. Like his like number 2 guy. Like they could just have a backstory with him.
I just don't think he had the depth to have his own arc. Personally, I don't think they could have. What were they going to say with Kurama? Oh, he goes back to find his mom and he goes.
Why does he need his own arc? He had enough screen time throughout the show. These guys are like don't even have their own arc, so I don't see what the comparison is because Leorio and Kurapika aren't having their own arcs.
Leorio and Kurapika aren't having their own arcs. Kurapika has his own arc. Leorio does not have his own arc. I'm not gonna say if other characters are gonna have their own arcs, but yes, there will be arcs where characters are centered around other than Gon.
Dude, I have like 30 episodes left. How are they going to fit all this in? I don't see it happening.
Matt trying to put Yu Yu Hakusho characters in the conversation with Hunter x Hunter, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I could debate him all day long about how he's wrong, but I do also want to get into the Greed Island arc, unless, Matt, you had some concrete points about how your boy Kurama should be mentioned in the same sentence as a Kurapika or even a Leorio. I put Leorio over Kurama.
Did Kurapika like only took out one of the Phantom Troupe when his whole objective was to kill them all? So I thought that was a little disappointing that he only took out one of them. And
would you think it's disappointing if the show goes on for 3,000, 4,000 episodes and they revisit that at some point? Would you still feel disappointed?
Yeah, I don't think an anime should be that long, honestly.
Okay. All right.
Because then it's just more potential for it to like ruin itself. Like Naruto, I think it ruined itself because it was too long.
Naruto
I
ruined
disagree. I think Naruto ruined itself because they brought in a character from out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree.
AKA
But if they had
Kaguya.
just wrapped it up before that character was introduced, then it would have been fine.
I still wanted to see Naruto and Sasuke's final battle. I still wanted to see Madara get defeated. I still wanted to see what happened afterwards. I wanted to see Naruto become Hokage.
They could have made it like 100 episodes shorter and then included all those things and just not included the bad parts.
Well, it would have been 100 episodes shorter if they didn't include the filler.
Yeah. But yeah,
Well, no, I think they should just ended it with like Madara being like the main villain of the story, not
exactly. That's what I meant by making it shorter. They didn't have to like reach to extend it to add more episodes about a character we didn't care about.
Yeah, but I think in Hunter x Hunter's case, similarly to One Piece, you would not have been able to complete One Piece in 500 episodes. Like One Piece is at 1,020 or something like that episodes, and they really could do like 500, maybe 1,000 more. To be honest, Hunter x Hunter, I'm as much credit as I give One Piece. Hunter x Hunter could easily be 2-3 times longer and not feel drawn out. They have that much of a story that they're preparing. This is what I was trying to get to the point of.
I don't think they kill off enough characters.
What?
I don't think they kill off enough characters. Like only one of those Phantom Troop people died. I don't think anyone died in that Heaven's Arena tournament where in Yu Yu Hakusho, their tournaments, like people are getting killed off. Like it's higher stakes, which I think makes the fight more interesting. The fights in the Heaven Arena, it like wasn't even to the death. They were like keeping score. They're like, oh, you got a takedown, you get a point. It was more so like a wrestling match than like a battle.
No, I think Hunter x Hunter kills off more people than probably every other anime I've seen, but it occurs in the Chimera Ant arc. It occurs in the last arc.
Well, that's good to know because honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound like I really enjoy violence, but I honestly feel like that like adds to the story when you know like not every character is just gonna make it to the end.
No, I think they kill off important characters. What's that, Chris?
I feel like they'd be killing too many characters. Hunter x Hunter, they'll introduce a guy and go on the next episode. Well, at least
like
that now.
I just think you're devaluing, Matt, what we're seeing here in real time, which I can't blame you because I did it the first time I watched it through too. You're devaluing the uniqueness of a Gon, Kurapika, Leorio, and Killua, in which case it's not like every other anime where the main four just stick together the entire anime. They're going off about Leorio. Yeah, like they're going off on their own and they're bringing back to the group at some later point in time that we don't know about. Not even I know about, but I assume that at some point they're going to get together and they're going to do the real Hunter x Hunter. Because right now, what have they hunted? They haven't hunted a thing. What is Hunter x Hunter?
That's what I'm saying. So how can you say it's the best show if you're just basing its value off of stuff we haven't seen?
Yes, because if I'm looking at arc by arc, the stuff that we haven't seen has built up the world to the point that when they address the new concepts of the place that they're ultimately trying to go, they can revisit all these things and tie them in a way that no anime has ever done before.
I'm just wondering, like, are they going to end the show without even like having Illumi do anything cool? Like, I was all about him getting more screen time, trying to figure out what he's going to be doing.
But see, that's what makes the show so great. It's like we want more screen time from these people.
That's what makes it disappointing for me. It doesn't
exactly.
Make it great.
I felt the exact same way when I watched it first. We're in agreement on that. I did want to go back to Greed Island for a little bit because Chris liked that arc. That was the arc that I really didn't like, along with the last arc. But I really didn't like the Greed Island arc. Chris, why do you like the Greed Island arc? And give it the respect because it's Sword Art Online's father.
No, see, I would say it is ReZero's father. And I enjoy the premise of it. They went into a game. It turns out it was action in real life. And it was literally like a training island built in order to help Gon find his power and progress through it. I thought they had the spells. I kind of like the fact that none of the spells were actually attacking spells. And they had a bunch of different characters that you can kind of relate with that are inside the game. that end up actually playing a major part in getting them out. So the teamwork, the training, and all of that, I really enjoyed it throughout the entire thing.
The spells didn't make sense to me because it was in the real world. It made more sense to me when they were saying it was a video game, but when they found out it wasn't even a video game, like how did those spells work? That was like
Well,
confusing.
they said it was. They still said the island was hold off from the rest of the world. So you took the spells out of the game that wouldn't work, and so the person who beat the game was able to choose 3 spell cards.
Yeah, but how did they work in real life?
I don't know if they ever really explained that. And I'm assuming that it will be addressed later on. But I just don't see, Chris, how I heard you talk, but I couldn't see how it's similar to ReZero.
Oh,
it definitely reminds me of Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online, it's very story is okay, we go into the game to get the
I like Sword Art Online better. Well, I didn't finish the series. I only watched the first 10 episodes because I got upset with the show after the first 10 episodes. But the first 10 episodes of Sword Art Online were fire.
That's disrespectful, Matt. Even I finished Sword Art Online.
I just didn't like how they like didn't even go. Well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't even go to level 100, so I thought that was lame. And then
they skipped a lot of stuff. Yes,
they skipped a lot of stuff.
I thought the whole show was going to take place within that game, and then they just like took it back out to the real world, and this guy is like licking his girl's face.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it after that. I mean, it became unwatchable to me. It's one of Chris's favorite anime.
I thought the first 10 episodes I thought were amazing when he like was getting those special swords and like leveling up random stuff. And
do you think Greed Island is more similar to Sword Art Online or ReZero?
I was thinking Sword Art.
Well, now, Matt, listen. Look, how are you gonna look at Bisky, right?
So where are you, Chris?
No, look, you're gonna
me and Matt are on the same page.
Because we don't know that ReZero is a video game. I feel like these two are clearly like going that video game route. So that's the comparison I saw.
Wait, is it then fair to say that Sword Art Online was influenced by Hunter x Hunter, which came out over a decade before?
I would say ReZero was also influenced by Hunter x Hunter. But like, look at this map. You get transported in what you thought was another world. That happens in ReZero, not in a virtual game. Like,
now, I see the similarity as well. I'm just saying, if I had to think of the first one, I was drawn to as probably Sword Art, but like, I can see both.
I said that
the whole premise is the exact same as Sword Art Online.
You could also say it's similar to like Rising of the Shield Hero as well. Like
that's true.
I don't see the similarities with ReZero. If you want to say that they're transferred to another world, I mean,
there's a whole category. I forget what the word is, but that's a whole category of anime.
The book that they're using is not that. Who's the dude with the that's in control of the mansion? What was his name?
Don't they use spells in Sword Art
Oswald
Online?
Or something?
Isn't that the whole thing? Like the guilds and all that? I thought that's what they do in Sword Art Online.
They use swords and sword skills, not really spells. But the guy in a mansion with the book, that he uses spells, he uses magic, and the game was
Roswell?
Yeah, Roswell does.
Yeah. So you have the book, the spells, and magic, similar to the game. Wait. You have Bisky with the 2 ponytails that's training, just like Beatrice with the 2 drill ponytails.
They're nothing alike.
I think Beatrice is the only reason you need to even know anything about Greed Island. Because if you skipped Greed Island, you would be Beatrice is in later arcs.
Beatrice is in ReZero. Yeah, we're talking
Beatrice is in ReZero.
Beatrice is the name of that blonde girl also in Hunter x Hunter that trained them.
No, her name is Bisky.
Bisky, yeah.
Oh, all right. See, that's what I'm saying, dude. I can't. None of these characters are memorable.
I kind of do give it to you. I think earlier I was speaking some blasphemy about.
And then the animals that was in there, just like in ReZero, where they have animal-like characters. Greed Island have that as well.
They did have some like cool creatures in Hunter x Hunter. Well, in the Greed Island, I guess, but.
Anyway, I didn't like Greed Island. I thought it was way too much training.
It was too long. Also, if it was a shorter arc, it might have been better.
I thought it was really cool when they did the dodgeball battle, the part that's in the opening. I loved Hisoka, Killua, and Gon working together. That was dope. I love that.
That is true. The dodgeball was probably my favorite section in that Greed Island part. Like my favorite test they had to pass.
Yeah, but everything else, it wasn't to my liking. I thought the final battle after he beat the bomber guy, how he just healed him and his partners. Like, bruh.
Oh, bro, I would have.
Who does that?
Healed him at all. Bro blew my arms off. Like,
yeah.
I literally lost a hand trying to fight this guy.
I thought that was wild. And if I were them, I would have taken that Breath of Life card outside of the game. That would have been the one card I would have taken out. You mean that you could be a near death's door and that thing can bring you back fully healed?
I would have took
The
that one.
teleporting is cool though.
Well, the thing is though, he took the one
You
where
can
he can
only
only
use it
use it
once.
once.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah. A company
Yeah.
on, like, I mean, you can only use each card once, but the thing about coming back from near death and then only like being transported once to a new place, come on now.
Now, I get he wanted to see his father now, but he should have took the magnetic force card if you wanted to see him by himself.
Do you think the chairman was a cool character? Chairman
Netero?
Netero? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's pretty cool. He reminds me.
he reminds me of Hiruzen from Naruto a little bit, third Hokage.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, aloof, but also
Yeah, but he's got a little bit more goof side.
I did like when Gon was like trying to take the ball from him. I did like those. Yeah, so that's going back to the Hunter exam. I just think that was my favorite arc.
Yeah, I just don't think you'll find an anime. I think why Hunter x Hunter is so beloved is they have so many different elements. Like we just glimpsed over the Hunter exam, but remember when they went through the tower and they fought those prisoners? Like the whole games behind that, like Leorio fighting the pink-haired girl during those games, Kurapika beating the crap out of the blue guy, Killua snatching the heart out of that murderer's.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
that and
his heart out.
that was my, and then the badges, like you were saying, like all those scenes were the ones I enjoyed the most.
The badges.
They were trying to take each other's badges once they were on the island.
Yeah. There's so many different elements of this show that I think is just not really explored in other shows. It's not very conventional. Like normally
it's not
you're
explored
right.
in this show either.
No, I think not too many other shows you would have an instance like the tuning exams where you only show one battle. Not too many shows you'd have a battle tower and you never see the floor masters. Not too many shows you go to Yorku City and fight the Akatsuki and only fight one Akatsuki member. Not too many shows you'd go to. Well, I guess Chimera arc you guys haven't seen yet, but there's also stuff that they didn't explore there and stuff they didn't explore in the last arc.
So I will say, like, I felt like the flow was better at the beginning of the show. Like I understood how they got to where they started at to New York City, and then New York City to Greed Island. Yeah. But when they went from, I guess, Greed Island to the Chimera Ant arc, it was kind of like, it almost, when I say it reminded me of the Bound arc, it almost seemed like it was filler. They just got like pulled into a random side mission, and the side mission is now taking like a bunch of episodes to get through. But the actual content itself inside the arc is pretty good.
I felt the exact same. A lot of the things I'm hearing you guys say is the exact same way I felt when I first watched it. I felt the same way. I was like, why are we going from York New City to a video game world to fighting giant killer ants? I was thinking the exact same way. And I give you that, Matt. You have some valid points. Like they're not fleshing out some of these characters that we need. What I'm saying is the artist has accounted for that.
I'm just saying, even like Kurapika, like only taking out one Phantom Troop member, I thought that was disappointing as well.
He showed growth, though. He showed growth.
Imagine fighting the Akatsuki and only fighting one member. That's what we saw in Hunter x Hunter.
To be fair, though,
I feel like he was almost happy, though. Like at the end of that arc, he was like happy. He met up with Gon and Leorio, and then they're all parting ways. And it seemed like he was like happy with the experience.
He was distraught. No, he was very distraught after that.
I thought he was just lying to their faces. He was definitely going to go after them.
No, yeah, he's clearly distraught.
Well, I want to see that then, because I just feel like they introduced that and then went to Greed Island, and I was like, I don't care about Greed Island. I'm trying to see like what's going on with these Phantom Troop members, and then they put them in Greed Island and they didn't even do anything. So I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think that's what we'll look for more in the second part. I do want to join you guys if you'll have me for the second part of this, because I think a lot of the critiques that you're bringing in now, if you still have those critiques when we pull up to that video, then I'll rip you.
All right, fair enough.
But it's hard for me to go against you because I had a lot of the same critiques my first watch through up to this point.
I was just saying it was hyped up to the max by you and then other people I've talked to saying that this is their number one anime.
I can see why people would say that.
I'll have to finish it out before I completely judge it. But I did watch a little past Greed Island. I'm at like episode 90, so I got like 40 episodes left. I don't see how they're gonna answer all my questions in that time frame, but I'll check it out.
You have about 60 actually.
Okay, maybe it's closer to one, but I'm still over like halfway through the show, and I feel like they've answered more questions than actually like solved stuff in the story.
Yeah, they do give you a lot of questions. Well, no, I would say, yeah, I agree with that. Like from episodes 1 through 75.
I do like Kite. I'll say that we don't have to talk about him until next episode, but I was liking that character. But I probably have to go with Hisoka as my favorite for the first half.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, so if I'm only doing episodes 1 through 75, it's actually Kurapika by hair and Hisoka like right behind him. But after episodes like 75 until what I'm currently watching at now, it has changed. So my top three has changed.
Okay.
I think my top has got to be up to this point Killua. Overall, it's Gon. But Hisoka is definitely in the top three.
As Killua became my favorite after episode 75.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because that means he comes back. I was wondering if he was going to come back.
Yeah, and I think for our viewers that have seen Hunter x Hunter all the way through, and even for you guys referencing this video after we see the remainder, I'm just going to say Dark Continent. That's the only thing that I'm going to say. As to the answer to all your criticisms, Dark Continent. Final answer.
Let's
all
see.
Right. I'll have to check it out.
Mixed reviews. Rob heralds the anime. Matt is like, this is average, not better than Yu Yu Hakusho. I think it's a pretty good anime. I'm excited to finish it. I'm excited to get the answers to the questions that I have, and I think it has a good story built foundation.
One thing we should have said at the beginning is we just had news that the artist is making a comeback. He's making some new pages on the manga, and a lot of people are excited that they may bring back the anime.
As they should.
I mean, and if they do pump out more episodes, we'll have to review those as well. But
yeah, now if they decide to reboot it back up, I'm gonna need the full manga. I'm gonna need all the episodes. I can't have like another 50 episodes and this dude leaves for 10 years.
Yeah, that's the only problem is, dude, I don't know how committed the artist is to just finishing this product. Because like I said, this could really be a show worth 3,000, 4,000 episodes. And that's why I think people say this could be the best anime of all time, because it has that potential. It really does.
Yeah, I think it has the potential, but I also feel like it's hard. But I still enjoy the One Piece cast more than the Hunter x Hunter cast.
Oh, even though the Hunter x Hunter cast hasn't been together.
They haven't been together. Well, even all the characters like separately. It's just like I like Luffy, Zoro, and like Sanji just more than Killua, Gon, and Kurapika. All right, but also I'm comparing 100 or so episodes versus 900 episodes that I've seen of One Piece, or 1,000 now.
Exactly. And I would say that in Hunter x Hunter, they haven't even gone into the Grand Line yet. They're pre-Grand Line. If this was Naruto, it might even be pre-Chunin exams. Like, this is so early on in the show from like the beginning. If we were to put this into the totality of what this show should be or manga, this would probably be like 1/100th or 1/300th.
So that's actually like a lot of content
of the show. Actually, that's my main point. What you guys are watching, even up to 150, is probably 1/300th of the show of what it should actually be.
Yeah, but I gotta judge it based off what they're showing, not what it could potentially be.
Well, hey, I'll tell you this: it doesn't end at 150. Like, they haven't reached the end. Like, if you guys are expecting that, that's not what happens. Everybody knows. So, that's what it is.
I'll just have to give my my review of the total product then. But this has been episodes 1 through 75. We'll finish out the show on next episode. We'll have Rob back, and we'll let you know our final thoughts. But thanks for joining us on this episode of Anime Bros, and take it easy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
See you guys.
Great as always. Bye.